Hi, this is Deb Watson, and this is Sunflower Part 2. In this part, we're going to be putting some detail in the petals, and we'll do a little bit of lifting. We're still sticking with those three basic colors, the ultramarine blue, the lemon yellow, and the quinacridone red. To put detail in the petals, I'm starting with mostly lemon yellow, but adding a little bit of the quinacridone red to make it a bit darker and more orange. And I'm filling in a few areas to give the petals a look of dimension, like they're a three-dimensional object rather than a flat paper. I'm working on dry paper with my small brush. And for areas where I want a soft blending, I put the color where I want it on the dry paper, rinse out my brush with clean water, and paint the rest of the area with water and let it blend softly on the paper. Sometimes you want hard edges, and sometimes you want things that just softly dissolve. This whole lesson has been about doing soft, loose edges, and the sunflower lends itself to that really well. Now, I don't want all of the petals to look alike. That would be boring. So the petals on the right side of the center of the flower, I'll be making a little darker, and the petals on the left side of the center of the flower, I'm going to leave those with a lot of the bright yellow. In order to make the orange a little darker value, I mixed it with some of the leftover green from the leaves. You can see that tones it down quite a bit. And I'm blending the bottom of this leaf with just more yellow. So we'll be switching back and forth between these colors quite a bit. A lot of flower petals have leaf lines or petal lines that are fairly visible. So you can leave some hard-edged and some soft edge blended with water or more yellow. Now, if petals have a hard edge, typically that looks close up. Things that are in the distance will have softer edges. So once the detail is all in place, we're going to go back with some clean water and I'll show you how to soften edges. But softening edges by filling in with water or more light yellow should give you good results. Your picture doesn't have to look exactly like mine. I doubt if any two will be exactly the same, and that's the way it should be with art. You could darken up any orange color by adding a little bit of blue. But this blue is fairly strong and dark, so just by adding a touch of that green, we get enough of a value change that it really stands out. You could spend a long time getting the petals exactly like the photograph. But as long as the main colors are well coordinated and glowing, people will love your sunflower. I'll be sure and include a detailed drawing in with this lesson on my website so you can see where the light and darker areas of the petals would work. Okay, I'm going to deep darken a few little spots in the back with a little bit darker orange, just to help them fade into the background and make the really yellow ones in the front stand out and look closer. But I'm not going to do every single petal that way. Just a few areas. The more variety you have, the more interest you'll have. Now, if you'd like to soften some edges, I'm using this small brush with clean water to reactivate the paint. I'm rubbing the paint at the edge of that petal to reactivate it and use a paper towel to lift it up. You can see this edge looks much softer and far away compared to the hard edges above it. You can also use a brush with clean water to draw lines on your leaves. The reason that my paper is lifting up so easily is because I use very few brush strokes when I'm applying the paint. The more you brush it down into the paper, typically the harder it is to lift up. I'm also going to lift up some spots at the right edge of the center to give it that sunflower seed look. If yours looks too washed out once you lift things up, you can add a little bit of color back to it. This is lifting up really well. And so I'm taking just that soft brush to soften up some of that and put some of the color back in so it doesn't look too washed out. While I have some of that lifted up color on my brush, maybe just a few more, I'm going to use that color that I lifted up to enhance a few of the lines between the petals. This helps with the color unity. And I think that's about it. Here's our sunflower, ready to frame. I hope yours looks better than mine.